This
Balls.
This show is brought to you by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, promo code Dangle for free shipping and 20% off. It's holiday season. You better order something.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Want to bet?
The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Have you in your life, in your career as a Leaf fan, and believe you me, it's a career. It's a job to be a Leaf fan sometimes.
Sometimes.
Have you ever seen a second period like that?
Dude, you won't hear me say this very often because my standard is incredibly high. Mm-hmm. The Leafs kicked their ass. The Leafs really did kick the LA Kings' ass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think at one point in the second period, it was 25-7 in Leafs' favor in terms of shots.
Yeah, like about a week ago, I said they dominated the Penguins. I didn't say they kicked their ass. They kicked the Kings' ass. They were lucky to come out of that with a 5-0 loss.
They snow jobbed them. Like they had right in the snow.
Beg your pardon?
Yeah, that's what they used to. You put your head in the snow and then you kick snow on the person.
Oh, like the snow equivalent of a swirly.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
You put your head in the toilet.
Yes.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
Exactly.
That's how he delivered the line.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
Yeah.
Where's the fucking money?
The thing about that movie is no one ever overreacts.
No.
So
I'm going to watch it tonight.
I think, I honestly think, like, it's something we talked about earlier this year. And we kept saying it. It's like, when do we ever see this Leafs group dominate? And over the last few years, you saw them win, but like dominate teams that they should dominate. And this LA is a playoff team.
Which is wild, by the way, because they have among the worst, if not the worst, team save percentage in the NHL.
I liked you looking up Jonathan Quick. You're like, Jonathan Quick, who's having a resurgence. Whoa, no, he's not on LFR.
He was an 888 heading into that game.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're in trouble. But it's wild though, because I'm watching the first period and I'm like, this is the opposite of what's advertised for the LA Kings. They're supposed to play you really, really well, but their goaltending lets them down. But they find a way to overcome. In this one,
everybody let everybody down.
Everybody let everybody down. It was a tight game until Jonathan Quick showed up, and then it's over.
I keep forgetting Tom McClellan is their coach.
Me too.
Like, he was so in the spotlight, at least in Canada, when he was the Oilers coach. Mm-hmm. And now that he's in LA, you're like, you're invisible, man. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I'm sure he enjoys that. You get to live in Los Angeles, coach a good team, and not have to have, the press writing crazy stuff about you.
Sometimes I get why NHL players don't want to play in Canada.
Yeah, they go to the quiet hamlet of Los Angeles.
I know.
But you don't matter.
Yeah,
you're telling me a Los Angeles King matters in LA?
It's like when we recorded Agent Provocateur this week. This week is Giannis Antetokounmpo's agent, Alex Aratzis.
Say it again.
Unreal.
Say it again.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Say it again.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
Did I get it?
Okay. The second time you kind of stumbled. But
did I?
I'm impressed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No,
that's 2 or 3. That's a serious win.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, there you go.
Good. We got 4-7.
But he said, he's like, man, he was talking about endorsements, and it's a great episode because, like, he's got Bam Adebayo, he's got Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's got the most complicated names in the NBA. Anybody who cannot pronounce, that's who's
fighting for his life.
That's who Alex Aratzis has. And but he was talking about endorsements. And he's like, obviously the thing that you can make the most of as a player is being a player. He's like, so focus on that. And then he's like, if that goes well, then we'll get you some endorsements. Yeah. And he's like, but in Miami, remember he was talking about Miami? And he's like, you want to get an endorsement in Miami, you got to outperform J-Lo.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
it's like, that's your competition. Like in Edmonton, the Oilers are king. Yep. In Toronto, it's Leafs Raptors. It's Leafs still, but like when the Raptors are winning, it's kind of tight now, right?
It's kind of tight.
You're underrating the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, that's true.
Vladdy can endorse anything.
Yeah, that's true. And Vladdy doesn't even like. He's like, I'm not even going to bother doing interviews in English, even though he speaks English. You're like, I don't care. I want to translate. But like we have some celebrities here that could do endorsements, but really, like Drake and Bieber are the kind of the big ones, and they're not really doing endorsements here. No. But in Miami, you're right. He was right. I never thought of it that way. What's that?
Biebs
did.
Biebs with
Yeah.
Tim Hortons.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Tim Biebs.
I just thought it was kind of like, wow, that kind of puts things into perspective. So in Todd McClellan's case, it's like, yeah, the LA Kings, Stanley Cup winners, big team. Gretzky played there, celebrities at the game all the time. But you're the head coach of the LA Kings and the Rams and the Lakers and the Clippers and the other football team. What's the other football team?
The Chargers?
Chargers, that's right. Because there's also the LA Chargers.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just not even.
Todd McClellan.
I almost said Raiders for some reason.
They used to be there.
They were Oakland, right?
Yeah. No, they used to be in LA, remember?
Well, they
Back
were
in
the
day.
LA Raiders. Yes. Yeah. And I'm sad because San Diego deserves the Chargers. I feel bad.
Todd McClellan to me strikes me as a goth kid who grew up to be a hockey coach and had to get a hockey coach haircut and everything.
Has he ever smiled?
Does
it go
but
to you?
only in ironic ways. Like he's very unintentionally funny, and I miss him very much.
Yeah.
It was nice to see him again.
Just to wrap that point, like the one thing we hear about NHL players is on their no trade lists, a lot of the time it's 7 Canadian destinations. And if you don't have the personality where you want to be in the media all the time, you can really go to an American market and disappear if that's the personality that you have where you don't want to be the biggest star in the city and do all the interviews. Like I wish I like the guys who thrive in the spotlight, a guy like Matthews, who relishes in being a star. Like I like those guys, but if you're not that person, I get why you got Canada on your no trade list. Because it's so much bigger here.
Yes. Whenever, though, we see a 10-team no-trade list, I'm always like, who are the other 3? And we assume Buffalo is on there. Sorry, Buffalo. Southern Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's Southern Canadian.
California, because taxes.
So it could be the California teams. It could be Buffalo, but we actually got a little bit of insight on a clip that didn't go nearly as viral as I thought it would. Scott Darling is an analyst for the Blackhawks. I forget on what network. And he's like, oh, I had St. Louis on my list. I hate that city. Which I couldn't believe it. He's just like, that place sucks.
People from St. Louis don't even have the best reviews about St. Louis.
What? Well, listen, I try to like every place I go, but it's never good when the hook sucks. And like, oh yeah, when you go to this place, you got to try this. When you go to this place, you got to try this. And St. Louis is like, you got to try our fried ravioli.
Is it good?
It's fried ravioli.
Okay.
You can.
Well, they also do beer. Like Budweiser's from St. Louis, isn't it?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been to an LCBO recently lately.
Where's that?
They have that here.
Yep. I think you can get that anywhere, Adam. I thought you were going to go in a different direction with the attraction for St. Louis.
Oh, the St. Louis Arch.
You went to the arch
nemesis.
Yeah.
and you fucking hated it.
Terrifying.
Because
Terrifying.
Isn't it really old?
It's rickety.
It's really a death trap.
It's a
which
hole.
is what it is. The people are fine. Everything was fine. I had lovely food. It was fine. But fuck that fucking arch. Terrifying.
Isn't it in a dangerous area of the city as well?
I did not pick up on that. I just kept looking up at the giant semicircle of paper mache that I was about to go up in some awful carnival pod.
You hated the arch.
I hated the arch. And there's like this metal flap you got to climb into to get in it. I'm like, what is this death trap? Oh, fuck the arch.
I always see.
It's just terrible.
I follow this account on Instagram just for fun, and it's called Cheap Old Houses, and it's mostly
That's the arch.
It's mostly Detroit, upstate New York, and St. Louis, and like there's these old, like turn of the century mansions that are like, here's a mansion for $200,000, and it's 4,000 or 5,000 square feet. It has a coach house. And it's in perfect shape, and nobody wants it. And I'm like, these houses are amazing. Like they're
Of course
like
you
Thomas
look at
Edison would have lived in a house like this. And you're
What?
That's a selling feature.
Why
for Adam
did
Wilde.
you pick Thomas Edison?
well because he was a turn of the century rich guy, and so I thought he would live in a house like
that's
that.
only
so
one.
out of nowhere.
Turn of the previous.
What
century.
about Leviticus Cornwall?
Yeah, he might.
Yep.
If you keep robbing him, though, he's gonna hold you, stick you up. And is it strawberry or Valentine?
Valentine.
What are your feelings on people calling this time period the 20s?
Ew.
This is the 20. No, it's not.
We're living in the 20s.
Who
It's
does
the
that?
2000s.
I hear it all the time on TikTok.
Get off my
It's
lawn.
Gen Z starting to
Get
annoy
off my
millennials.
Can't be the 20s, can it?
Yeah,
I guess it is.
It's the 20s.
Shit, I guess we got to let him have it.
Okay, here. We're the 1820s, the 20s.
I'm sure for them.
Yeah, at the time.
I'm sure for them.
Then screw it. It's the 20s.
Roaring 20s
Damn,
are
we're
back.
into the roaring 20s.
You can't call it the 20s in it.
It's been a shit start to the 20s. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
20s
Kind of like
yeah,
the
you
last,
think?
like
Yeah.
the last 20s.
Yeah, the last 20s. Yeah, the end of World War I, and then there was that big plague. Yeah, it's true. Good point.
Oh, it's kind of similar.
Good point.
You know, war and a plague.
Yeah.
So
Fighting in Eastern Europe, it's the same. Holy shit.
Jonathan Quick's not very good.
And so it was funny because I was asking Andrew Berkshire about that tweet. It was like 10 years ago, and he tweeted he's like, everybody raves about Jonathan Quick, who has one good game a month, and
Dude.
he
has one. Or no, he has 2 good months a year, but they're May and June.
Yeah, the dude's got 2 cups, people.
Yeah,
Put some respect.
a long time ago though.
Dude, yeah, well,
It was
that's
in the
true.
20s.
It was in the teens.
wasn't.
Oh, yeah. No. What am I talking? What am I
Since
talking
their
about? I'm
Stanley
forcing
Cup
that
win,
now.
and listen, far be it from us on Leafs fans to dunk on anybody in their playoff success, but since their Stanley Cup win in 13-14, they did not qualify for the playoffs. They lost in the first round. They did not qualify. They lost 0-4. They did not qualify for the next 3 years, and then they lost 4-3 to the Oilers in the Todd McClellan Bowl
In the
last year. So, it's not been an easy ride for them. They are on their way up.
I
But
think they're on their way up.
Their goaltending sucks.
Well,
Oh.
and it was supposed to be a smooth transition from Quick to Peterson.
Yeah.
I still think Peterson will find a way to not be the worst goalie in the NHL. Like, there's a reason he earned that contract,
Mhm.
right?
10 years ago.
No, not Peterson.
wait.
Peterson.
No, Peterson is...
Peterson was supposed to be the guy that filled in for the guy that signed that 10 years ago
Right.
and has been bad.
So you think Peterson's going to get it back?
I do, and Quick. I mean, he lost it a long time ago. Where's that King's tweet? 10 more years of our goalie being better than yours. No, not quite. But you got 2 cups. So
We all knew
it's
at the
fine.
time, too. It's kind of like, nobody wants a goalie for 10 years, do they?
Yeah.
Unless you're Brodeur or Lundqvist.
Can I tell you the most fun part of my night?
Sure.
Was it watching my team win?
Couldn't be.
Well, that was pretty good. Was it watching Mitch Marner extend his streak?
Definitely not.
Was it listening to all the jovial post-game quotes from Ilya Samsonov? Having some smile.
Oh, he was funny.
He was
Yeah, no, I don't think it was. What was it?
texting Alan Walsh.
Oh, about Durzi. Oh, that would have been fun. What
Sure.
do you I bet he was pro Leafs on that one.
He sure was.
Engvall's got a knot.
Yeah, that was bad.
That's not good.
That was bad.
It is your job on the next Agent Provocateur. I need 5 minutes from Alan. I need to know what it's like
How
when
pissed
your
was he?
client is getting booed by the entire.
How about his home in his home rink
Yeah, his
where he
home
saw his
rink.
first game?
Yeah.
Now, he was very complimentary of the Durzis, his family, and his mom and dad, who seemed to be relishing the role of, hey, our son's getting booed.
His mom was a very good sport.
That's pretty cool that he's getting booed. Now, there was really interesting insight from Robert Malloy, our social media manager, who happened to be at the game.
Yeah, man, did he pick the right game to buy tickets to?
No
Like
kidding.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Because everyone's booing the guy who got slashed in the head. And I'm like, that's a bit odd. That's maybe not the nicest thing, because if you watch on the replay, he very clearly gets slashed in the head by Pierre Engvall, who can't do that. And we'll get into that.
Are we sure?
Well, he said in person it looked like a dive, which I can understand because you don't always have the benefit of replays. I always think back to a Tyler Dellow story. Tyler Dellow was a very prominent hockey Twitter figure before basically not doing that anymore and deciding, I'm going to go work for NHL teams because I'm smart. Whatever, man. He was doing a puck talks and he talked about getting hired by the Oilers and watching the team from the press box and just like eyes wide, sort of overwhelmed by it. And Dallas Eakins, who was the head coach at the time, just comes up to him. He's like, it's a little hard without the replay button, isn't it, bud? Right?
Oh.
Yeah. So, the fans in the building, I don't know why I said we, I didn't go. The fans in the building didn't see the replay. So all they had to go off of was Michael Bunting losing his mind on the bench. So you know what? That's our guy. Screw you, you dove. And that's what they rode for the rest of the game. However, we now know Pierre Engvall has a hearing with the Department
Over
of
the
Player
phone,
Safety.
which is a good sign because if it was in person, that means they can bump it up to 5.
Yes.
5 or more.
5 or more. So it's over the phone, so it might only be like 2.
And he deserves it. You got to listen.
Yeah.
You got to control
1,
your
maybe.
stick. I don't think Pierre
2
Engvall is
max.
if you've
Max.
ever LA Kings fans, you can be forgiven if you don't know this about Pierre Engvall. But my father-in-law calls him eggs because he won't go into the corners. He's got this gigantic frame and he will not use it. Doesn't punish anyone for anything at any time except for when he scores on you. And so
Kings-
the idea that he would go after anybody intentionally is, I mean, even Sheldon Keefe said it post-game. He's like, if you've watched Engvall play, you know.
So if you're a Kings fan, you might not understand the full context of that quote, but the quote is basically he's the single most frustrating player in the Leafs organization, possibly.
Yeah.
Because he is the biggest, the
Tallest.
He might be
Tallest, yeah.
he's the tallest. He might be the heaviest. He's the fastest.
He has the most abs.
He has
Yeah.
24 abs. He
Yeah.
has a case of abs
Mhm.
and uses none of those things.
He needs to protect them. When he's playing hockey, he needs to make sure that he has his ab use for off-ice purposes.
And a little thing that I've noticed, and maybe only me, anytime there is a Leafs social media camera around to videotape something fun in the locker room and then upload it later, does he have a shirt? Hell no.
No, I noticed it on the Mitch Marner picture.
Yeah.
Point. He doesn't have a shirt on off.
No.
There's a scene in the Amazon documentary where he's sitting with like oddly good posture and clapping in a weird way and looking at the camera. I'm like, that guy knows the camera is there and he is flexing every muscle in his body right now.
Yeah.
And he's an Adonis. Like he's absolutely completely friggin' ripped.
Yep.
And Kings fans, forgive us for being surprised Pierre Engvall showed aggression. Like, oh man. He gets into scrums, and I'm like, this is it. This is the time. This is when he finally does it.
Yeah.
And it never happens. And he was careless with a stick. I don't
Yeah.
think he meant to. No one in their right mind slashes a player in the back of the head with their stick. It was an accident, but you gotta be responsible for your stick. I think it's 2 games max.
Mhm.
If you go by the Matthews standard with Dahlin, I certainly don't think it was worse than that. And then what was the other one? There was another one recently that was very similar. Joel Edmundson
Right.
with Zach Hyman. I don't think he got anything.
No, but it's a Leaf.
What a joke.
You
Okay.
do, you do get it if you're a Leaf. You do.
George Peros took over from Brendan Shanahan, and I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough.
What do you mean?
I wonder how much of George Peros' job involves talking absolute shit about the president of the Toronto Maple Leafs. What? He took over the job, and people were like, oh, we need you to do... Because Brendan Shanahan brought suspensions to a place where they should be going, and Peros has been the hard reset that will not go away. And how much crap do you think is talked in the NHL player safety boardroom about Brendan Shanahan?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, so, like, I'm sorry. Jason Spezza getting 6 games. Fine. If that's the standard, fine. It's super incredibly not the standard. So Spezza getting 6, it's not. Jesse, over 1,000 games in the NHL, no suspension.
Did I say anything?
You shook your head. I saw it. I couldn't not see it. I could see your jacket from space.
Maybe the better way to put
I saw it. Beebs.
Maybe the better way to put it is it should be. I feel like they got that one right.
I thought at the
Yeah,
time
I
it
was
was
like, yeah,
right.
he probably deserves that.
I don't know.
He fucking super kicked the guy in the face.
Retroactively
No.
changing your opinion on this.
That's what I said at the time. They only get it right against the Leafs.
I don't know. It deserves 6 games.
They only get it. They got it right with Kadri, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
They really got it
Which
right
one?
with Kadri. Exactly. The one where they suspended him for the rest of the series, which
Yeah.
is not an amount of games.
No, that was the right call.
Is
he
it-
needs to be kicked out of the series.
No, is it a 4-game suspension?
Well, I
or
think
2?
I think Jake DeBrusk probably, given what he did to Kadri right before that, they could have taken a look at that too.
I'm sure the officials in that game were reprimanded too.
Yeah, yeah. So I think there's a, I think
He's so jacked.
Do we want to enjoy Engvall's abs for a second?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's have a look at it.
So this is the Mitch Marner video. For anybody listening, Mitch Marner comes in. There's him doing the gritty. So he's coming in after he breaks the point streak record, and everybody's wearing clothes except for one individual who comes right in front of the camera with no clothes.
Oh, look at that. It's old V back.
Yo.
And then he turns right to the camera.
Yeah, I've been doing my chin-ups and
He's
my
flexing
pull-downs.
everything.
Yeah, look at that.
Everything.
Oh, you just happen to not have a shirt on, even though everybody else has a shirt on.
Come on, Pierre. Oh, man. If he gets suspended, that means he's going to have to sit in the press box. It's going to kill him to wear clothes.
So there
You know it's going to kill him to wear clothes. Come on, Pierre. Get out of the camera's way, bud. I'm on to you. I'm on to you, Biscuit. Come on now. Is that picture of my face up on the screen?
Yeah, well, I'm having trouble with my internet. I think I get too many devices attached to the internet, and so the SDPN screen that's supposed to run there keeps going off.
That person.
I'm going to fix it when we talk to Dave. Though.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get it
That's
going.
good. I'm glad.
If you're ever feeling down about yourself, just that person's married, and someone decided they love that person. I don't know why.
I have a question.
It's quite the face.
I have a question. When you saw Mitch Marner score to extend the point streak and just mean mug, as you put it in the LFR,
Dude.
that's a different kind of confidence. What did you say earlier this year that the Leafs lacked the most?
Confidence.
Well, but there was a word.
You remind me.
The
of
kids
my
use it.
brilliance.
It's called swagger.
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's that little bit of like, I'm fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
Isn't this fucking great? Because I'm
also,
fucking great.
Stop showing your age. The
The
kids
kids.
would say that
No
he's-
cap.
No,
For real,
that's
for real.
Not
Bussin'. He's bussin'.
Buss's a little better.
Mitch Marner's bussin'.
No, you haven't said the word yet.
What is it?
oh, dude, oh no.
I'm gonna
I know
say it.
I know it too.
Mitch Marner, he slays.
Oh!
No, I think that's even out of date.
That might be out of date.
Oh, boo,
Yeah, it is.
no.
Sorry.
People still say slay.
They still do. Olds. The
Okay.
olds
The
say
olds do.
slay.
It's true. The olds do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does your age start with? A 3? Couldn't be me.
I think, are we living in the best era of Leafs hockey? Regular season hockey?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're living in the worst. Even
Yes.
even the bad 70s Leafs made it to the second round. I
Right.
think-
Even the early 2000s Leafs.
well, they were good though. They were
Yeah.
good. They
But
were $80 million team.
They
back then.
weren't this regular season good.
No, they were not.
This might be the best regular season era of the Leafs we've seen in a century.
You know,
I don't know. That's a good question. It
I
might
don't
be.
know. I might look it up later tonight.
I decided to not make last night's LFR half an hour by answering this question that I got from several people. Do you still want to trade Marner? I don't believe what I said was, I want to trade Marner, and it is a good idea to trade Marner. I think what I said was based on the conclusion that I came to after the Ducks game. Obviously too early, but neither of you guys seemed to blame me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was over
Me
for the
too.
core. You look at how they're playing now. They played that way last year.
Yeah.
They played great in the playoffs, even in a loss. The beginning of the season, to me, was very obviously a step backward. And it was a long enough step backward that I was like, you know what? I think we're done here. Dubas is on the last year as general manager, which was highly relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Highly relevant to the conversation. It's highly relevant to the conversation now in a completely different way. It wasn't he needs to do something to save his job. It's they're out of their minds for letting this guy be unsigned right now. They need to lock him up.
Keith was on his last year. We've had 4 kicks at the can at
Is
this.
he on his last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, they both expire, I believe, at the same time.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think
It looked like it was over.
it looked like it was over. Now, firing Sheldon Keefe would have absolutely been the wrong move. We know that. But we looked at the core, and I looked at the core, and I said, well, okay, who you trade? It's obviously not Matthews. You're not going to get good value for Tavares.
Willie's deal looks great.
Willie's deal looks great. So the obvious answer was the guy who's currently on a 21-game point streak. He might have started that streak the game after I said that.
And it was a quiet start. Like the first 10 games, everybody ignored it because everybody's focused on the Leafs' injuries and goal and the fact that they weren't playing great or whatever. And all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, Mitch Marner's like 12 games into a point streak. That's crazy.
But what was weird, though, about Marner at the beginning of the season is I think most people agreed he wasn't playing the greatest. A lot of the team wasn't playing the greatest. It was like Willie Tavares and that's it. And still, you look at the score sheet every night, you're like, he had 2 points. Oh.
Yep.
But like at this big moment, he wasn't that great. But now, on top of the points, he's interplanetary. Like this is the best hockey he's ever played.
Easily.
He is making great defensive stops too, like with his on the shorthanded and stuff like that. He's been amazing.
He almost set up Tavares for a one-timer from his ass. Like really close. He had the TSN broadcast team, and then if you listen to the radio call, Joe Bowen laughing. That shift, he had everyone broadcasting that game laughing at how incredible he's playing right now. He's a cartoon. He's a cartoon superhero right now. And that mean mug was a far cry from just a few games ago where he could barely hit an empty net and he's like laughing at himself, going, phew, and like nervous on the bench. Now that he's got, he tied the record and then got sole possession of the record. And now he's crushing the record. It seems like a different dude.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Who's not rolling right now?
Wow.
Can I bring up the spiciest take I saw?
Go for it. Wait, last night?
Yeah, over the last couple days because of how hot they are. Leafs don't need Morgan Rielly. Leafs are better without Morgan Rielly.
Okay.
They can move on now.
Whoa.
Okay. I can't wait for the first Avalanche win. They don't need Nathan McKinnon. Like, shut up. Listen. Well, they don't need TJ Brody either. Then.
No, but he's come back and they kept winning, so
That's
now
true.
they've proven they need him.
That's one of the most mind-blowing stats I saw. I don't Jonas Siegel, maybe? When Brody was out of the lineup, the Leafs were 9-0-3. That's their steadiest defensive defenseman. That makes no sense. They had a third pair of like 4 different guys. None of that makes any sense.
I just saw some "never bring Morgan back" tweets.
Okay.
And
I tell you what, if he comes back and they start to play like shit, then we can have that conversation. Why?
Even then.
I agree, but why can't it just be look at how great they are?
Oh no, because that's what
wonderful?
Twitter has to be, right?
Yes.
You can't say like if
even I wouldn't say that
on certain
for God's
subjects.
sake. Like,
you say, and we have to do this on the show now too. Where it is like 10 years ago, I never had to do this on anything. But you can't say something is good without people thinking you're denigrating its opposite or it's something or its cohort, I guess. So like just to give you like an example, I retweeted a tweet the other day, and it was like. Somebody's like, man, I'm such a nostalgic memories person. Like, I always think back to how amazing life was with my friends. Like, hit me with your favorite memory or something. It was like some random tweet. And then someone tweets and was like, it's a good thing you don't have PTSD. You don't know what it's like for me. And it's like, no one, you know what I mean? There's a little bit of that going on.
Thank you.
And exactly. And I think that's the thing.
Sorry for my fond memories.
You can say Sidney Crosby is great. You could say you think Sidney Crosby is the best NHL player of all time. You don't have to then go, but I also like Alexander Ovechkin. You can think.
Whoa! You called Gretzky a what?
You said Lemieux shit. I can't believe what you didn't say about Orr. So no, I just think Sidney's the best. That's my personal favorite. Well, you're a fucking idiot. Here are 5 other players that are way better, and it's just.
Yeah, listen, it's a little bit. The internet is where people go to take out their bad days on everyone, and I've been guilty of it 1,000 times. Listen,
you did go on a bit of a tangent in your LFR. Remember, Jess? We were watching it just
today
at the end.
You went on a funny random tangent about somebody coming up to you at a book signing and be like, "Hey, this is you saying a quote to you," and then you being like, I don't get it. And you're like, you said that, Steve, because you don't remember.
Oh, yeah, it was a rant against myself. Yeah, someone was like, oh, yeah, You think Mitch is having his Mountain Dew? And I read it for a second. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that's a bit I did in LFR when he was like a rookie, which was now 6 years ago. Oh my God, I'm old.
Anyway, I think like that thing where the most outlandish opinion rises to the top. That's kind of ruined us as media people because Twitter is so important to like our little world. Yeah, and that's kind of what drives the conversation on Twitter is, hey, the shit rises to the top. Yeah, because those are the people who get all the interactions, and it's been awful for all of our brains.
So Wyshynski, I guess he was tweeting this morning, and he said something about like Leaf fans going through and finding like bad goalie takes about the Leafs. Like, man, what are the Leafs going to do about their goaltender situation? It super sucks. And honestly, show me one person that was like, I think Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov are the answer. We've had Freddie Anderson. We've had 11 game in a row winner, Jack Campbell.
You can't say that either.
What do you mean?
You can't say that either.
What do you mean I can't say that?
You can't, because I learned this when I said, hey, no one said Matt Murray was going to be good. And yes, they did, though. There's 7 billion people.
Yeah, somebody said it.
Ian Mendez actually is the one guy I can remember going, hey, wait a second.
Like media guy.
Yeah. He was like, listen, he was good here, and here's why, and here's the stats.
No, Adam, there are so many people that somebody said that. Yeah, so you can't say nobody said it. Somebody did.
I think when you say people are saying, like unless you qualify that it's a minority opinion,
names.
That it's like an opinion that's not the... Because let's be honest, the betting favorites were not the Leafs goaltending being a highlight of this year.
No, it was,
and I'm thrilled about it, but I was skeptical. Of course.
Okay, ranked in terms of how they were acquired. There's European, or no, sorry, we'll start with Joseph Wool. There's Leaf draft pick. That's great. Team wanted him. Team drafted him. Team signed him. Then there's European free agent Eric Källgren.
Yeah.
Team wanted him. Team signed him. Then there's the Washington Capitals didn't even give you a qualifying offer in Ilya Samsonov. And then there's a divisional rival who said, we will pay part of this guy's salary and give you a third and give you a seventh. That's how bad we want to get rid of this guy in Matt Murray. And it's looked great.
It's been a great pickup.
And like, it's like, to me, it's not that Matt Murray has looked great or that Samsonov has looked great. It's they've both looked great at the same time. I don't think the biggest optimists even thought that was going to happen. The way I saw this season playing out is Murray's going to get a stretch of games. He'll look good. He'll falter. They'll go to Samsonov. He'll have a stretch of games. He'll look good. He'll falter. They'll go back to Murray. They'll both falter. They'll trade starts. One of them will pick it up. One of them will get some more starts. That's usually how it goes with a tandem. And now it's just sort of, we can throw out whoever we want and we're going to get 920 goaltending. Hooray for us.
Yeah.
It's a team thing. The goaltending has been fantastic. The defense have gotten just sort of overnight really good in front of their own net, clearing rebounds and everything, and getting the puck at very least over the blue line, if not attacking with it. The coaching staff has done... How many games this season have they had to go, oh, we lost a player in the first period. Guess we got to figure this shit out. And they had to do it again yesterday with Nick Robertson. Pierre Engvall is a key penalty killer, and he's out for 5 minutes. Got to figure this out. And every single time they rise to the occasion, guys go through slumps. They come out of them. I don't have many complaints, man.
There shouldn't be any.
If I had told you guys at the beginning of the season that Mac Hollowell would be playing regularly,
it'd be if you described everything that has happened to the Leafs this season, it should be a disaster.
Yeah.
It should be a shit show right now, and we should be talking about everybody getting fired. With the amount of injuries, the amount of underperforming at the beginning of the season, like the goalies going, it's been awful, and everything couldn't be going better.
The Kings and Leafs have some similarities, too, because you talk about both teams, and then you look at them in the standings, you're like, how are you both in the top 10?
Yeah.
Well, how did that happen? Not quite. The Leafs are getting great goaltending. The Kings are getting shit. Like Källgren would probably be their starter. Honestly, no lie, honest to goodness. But they just keep finding ways.
It's unbelievable.
And this is what I've been yelling and screaming for years, though.
Because they were always capable.
Well, it's not just they were always capable. every year something happens to them.
Mm-hmm.
Something, if only this didn't happen, they would get this place. They would have faced a different opponent in the first round. They would have beaten them. If only this didn't happen, then they would have won this series. If only, and I said, dude, no one cares.
Those things happen.
Yeah, life doesn't love you. Life is. It just is. You have to love you. You have to figure it out. You have to just win.
Yeah.
Just win. Penguins won a cup with Ron Hainsey as their number one defenseman. Just win. Like, all of their guys were hurt. Won a cup. Just win.
Yeah. Canucks
used 13 defensemen en route to a Stanley Cup final, Game 7 in 2011. Yes, I know they didn't win, but 13? Have the Leafs even used 13 this season?
Mm-hmm.
Come on. And they did it in
those Blackhawks teams where Keith played 400 minutes in a game.
They had 3 usable defensemen.
3 literal.
2015.
If you look at the shift charts, they literally ran 3 guys out there on defense. It was crazy.
They put Kimmo Timonen out there and then pissed themselves every time. He played 5 minutes a night.
No,
it was crazy.
And who was their third pair?
The Kimmo Timonen and somebody else.
Because it was, I'm trying to remember this because this was my first playoffs at Sportsnet. It was obviously Keith Seabrook. Johnny Oduya was good and usable.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the first year they won the cup?
No, this is 2015.
Last year.
We could easily look this up.
I want to say it was, they had 2 pairs basically, and the other guy was Michael Roosevelt.
I can't use mine.
And then he got hurt, and it's like, okay, we got Timonen at the deadline. Let's use him. They throw him out there and get shelled. All right, let's not use him. Let's, I don't know, just keep throwing Keith out until he pisses himself.
And the point is that the hockey teams, these things happen throughout the regular season. And for years, we've been like, Leafs, you can't use those things as an excuse. Win the damn games.
And the thing about adversity is it's amazing when you overcome it. Like, I'm not saying...
I think Trevor Van Riemsdyk got into some games.
A very young Trevor
Tim
Van Riemsdyk.
Erickson, former Leaf.
TVR was on the fucking...
Yeah.
David,
here's one. David Rundblad.
Who?
Have not heard.
Wow.
So it was, guys, we're forgetting about my favorite defenseman of all time, Nicholas Chalmerson.
Oh, yeah.
He was great.
Oh, that's right.
Keith
that's right.
Seabrook, Chalmerson.
But he got hurt, didn't he?
Roosevelt, not in the playoffs, I think he did, yeah. And then they had Roosevelt, Oduya, and then Rundblad, and they had Glendening, and they had TVR, and they had Kimmo Timonen, but Kimmo Timonen, I think, was like a late ad, and he was like 39. Like, it was...
No, all those guys played
crazy.
2 minutes a night.
Yeah.
Like, they played 3 defensemen.
Man,
it's insane.
Yeah.
Anyways,
no, it was
adversity.
Truly wild. Yeah. No, and like, listen, it gets the better of you sometimes, and so many times at the end of a series in the handshake line, you see guys with their head down, and they're not just thinking about the loss; they're thinking about, fuck, like we got dealt a bad hand.
Mm-hmm.
The Leafs, it's we often bring this up because it's a forgotten moment in Leafs history, and we make fun of Dubas for it, but it was actually the right mindset. The Leafs were down Riley as a defenseman. And this was the 1920 season. And the Leafs are hanging on by a thread every game. They're without Riley. And then in a game against Tampa, they're without Muzzin. And for basically the entire third period, they played Travis Turbot.
Yep.
And they ended up holding on and winning that game. And Dubas tweets a YouTube video about the parable, I guess, of the Chinese farmer. And it's basically good thing happens. And they go, oh, that must be so good. And the farmer goes, maybe. And then bad thing happens. And they go, oh, that must be so bad. And he goes, maybe. You got to look it up to hear the whole thing. That was the mindset they should have, though. He was absolutely right. The dumbed down version of it is shit happens. Sometimes shit happens. Eric Källgren's your starter for 2 weeks. Sometimes shit happens and you have Mette Hollowell as your third pair and don't lose. Like, it's sometimes TJ Brody goes down and you get let me think about this. 21 of a possible 24 points.
Unbelievable.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I'm
they're
looking
doing
at
things that I just don't think they used to be capable of.
I'm looking at the standings, and this is a team that we are driving us fucking crazy in overtime. They lose every overtime game.
It's unbelievable.
They've lost 6, but here's the thing with the Leafs, because of the loser point, partially, but they are third in the NHL right now, and the 2 teams ahead of them are also in the East, Boston and New Jersey. The Leafs are only 3 points behind both of them. Now, they have a couple games ahead, like they've played a couple more games, But I mean, for them to have lost 11 games and still be third in the NHL is pretty amazing.
Well, and add 6 points
Yeah.
for all their overtime losses.
Yeah.
Or take away all the they're playing so well. They're in absolutely every game. And it's cool that they kicked the Kings' ass and everything.
They have not had a regular season loss in over 10 games.
That's
regular
it's
season.
unreal. But
Regulation loss.
What I was
Excuse me.
going to say is you're not going to look like the better team every night.
No.
And something Tampa does really well is they win games where they're not the better team. And that's how they won against Dallas. They were not the better team in that game.
But they did it.
Outstanding goaltending, team
Outstanding penalty
defense.
kill.
I haven't seen a goalie steal a game for the Leafs like that since Cujo Belfour. Like those years. Because Belfour used to steal some games. Cujo used to
That is
absolutely steal
James
some games.
Reimer
Yeah,
erasure.
what are you doing?
Oh, you're right, James.
Hey.
You're right, James.
Shut up. He stole half a series and then they lost.
He did.
Hey!
And guess what?
Hey!
When they lost, it was his fault.
Yeah,
Because they tried to replace him the next year.
Yep. Who scored 2 goals in Game 7? I always forget.
Cody Franzen.
Cody
Of course you always
Franzen.
forget.
Yeah.
Man, what a performance. He would have had a statue. That
You know
poor
who
guy.
Someone had
That
2
poor
goals.
guy.
Someone had 2 goals in the 2018 Game 7 against Boston.
Willie.
Nope.
Who?
Adam.
Thomas Plekanec.
Patrick Marleau.
No way. Really?
He was
Oh
great.
my God.
Wow.
He was.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, that's so painful. Shit.
That
Shit.
sucks.
Shit. Oh, I hate it so much. Shit.
He was so good in that series and so not good the next year. But he was
good that
fuck.
first year.
That contract was a fucking boat as soon as it got here.
I think here's the honest truth. The Leafs were trying to get Marleau and Thornton that summer. It would have helped to get Thornton because he had like 60 points that year. They didn't get it. When they couldn't get both, they should have got neither. And what they did instead was they were like, no, we're still going to get Patty. And he was good, but they really lost out on the early years of Matthews, Marner, Nylander being on ELCs.
Yeah,
They should have gone out and got more useful players.
But then there's the argument like, well, they helped develop those guys because you really took them under their wing. Anyway,
I think you could have done that.
No,
other
listen-
ways.
listen what we're
the
doing.
way Thornton got here was the correct way, where he took minimum.
Yeah.
Patrick Marleau handed out a giant deal.
A year too long. Year too long.
And then a first round pick was spent getting rid of it. It was awful.
Yeah, imagine the Canadian bubble, but they have Thornton and Marleau. No, but they would have both been past their best.
No.
If we
No.
could have moved the Canadian bubble, if they had just fuck.
No.
Anyway, listen to us doing what we do.
We're
as
not
Leaf
talking
fans.
about this team. This
No.
team, there's literally nothing negative to say about it. Unless you're a guy on Twitter being like, trade Morgan Riley.
Well, here's a negative.
No.
No. They've been weak on the left side on offense. They just got weaker because Nick Robertson is now going to miss significant time. I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to guess at least a month.
Yep.
They said that he's out for a while.
Yeah. Here's the positive. Who's next?
Mhm.
Someone's next up.
Also, they weren't playing him. So
No,
he was in and out. So now he's just out.
I thought he had a good. He had a couple
was
good
good.
scoring chances in the Stars game and in this game
Does
as well.
he have a goal or a primary assist in like 10 games? I think it was.
Since the Stars game,
Since his first game, he hasn't had a goal.
I think he has at least an assist.
I think he has 2 assists on the year or something like that. Hasn't been like a outstanding statistical performance.
No.
from Robertson.
But I watch him and I'm like, there's good things there.
yeah,
And the funny thing is, I've actually increasingly liked his compete in puck battles and in the corners, and just eats a shit sandwich last night. That brought the boomer out in me.
Yeah.
Because he
There should have been somebody grabbing somebody.
well,
I don't know. Clean hit.
yeah, but then what leads to the Leafs win? Zach Aston Reese lays a hit. Blake Lizotte, the smallest guy on the Kings, sticks up for his teammate.
Mhm.
And it leads to a power play, which leads to the first goal.
grab
which
him and
leads to
hug
the
him.
second goal.
Nah,
Grab him and hug him.
I got a problem. If you're fighting guys after clean hits, like suck it up.
I don't know that was like, listen, he didn't have the puck.
Wait, are you talking about Robertson or Aston Reese?
Any situation. Don't fight a guy after a
I
clean hit.
didn't feel
You're
like the
allowed to hit
Robertson
guys.
was totally clean though. It was marginal. Robertson did not have the puck. He didn't have it. So you upend a guy that doesn't have a puck, and that even if he had the puck, that's boarding. I
argument-
hate to say it. Like, listen, I'm not trying to be. I love a fucking bone crushing hit, man.
Wasn't there interference on? Did they call interference?
They
on the
called
play?
it interference.
Yeah, they called it interference.
What Odog said at intermission was he thought it was two guys going for the same puck. What I saw in the replay,
Then go for the puck, not the man. Then.
Well, what I saw, it's like a battle.
It's
but what I saw in the replay was Robertson was the second person to come to that conclusion.
No, okay.
He's going for it, and then he goes, "Oh, I should get body position. It's too late. You're fucked."
Mm-hmm.
Right,
and just gets rocked.
I thought the play, I think, was interference, but the hit on the body was a clean hit, if that makes sense.
It's borderline, and I thought it's borderline enough that it warranted a response. In the same way that I think the Aston Reese hit was borderline enough that it warranted a response. It got a response, and it screwed the Kings.
If there was, listen, I'm not asking for penalties. I'm not asking for like take a cheap shot at somebody. Just grab somebody and be like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Like just do something. Struggle a little bit. I like a little bit of just
all the good teams do it.
They do.
I'm sorry.
Man, if you're laughing at me right now, I've watched Boston. If the Leafs breathe the wrong way, the Boston Bruins would be like, come here, motherfucker, let's go.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I agree. Like, a clean hit is a clean hit. If you want clean hits to be in the game, then no fighting after clean hits. I've watched now for years the Bruins do it, the Lightning do it, the Blues do it when they won the Cup. Even the Penguins, like the Penguins, they're not a goon squad, but they'll at very least write you a stern letter. Whereas the Leafs, like, they're looking at the bench and they don't give a shit. Anyway, their power play is their response, said the ghost of Mike Babcock, and they won the game.
And that's how it went. And then they went to the second round.
And then the third, and then the fourth, and then Michigan, and then Delaware, and Wisconsin, and then the White House. Yeah!
Should we get to You Can Bet That? So Jesse can fix this TV?
We shall.
Let's do it.
You Can Bet That with David Bastel. Brought to you by Sports Interaction. Get in the action and make a play. 19 plus. Please play responsibly.
Today's a little bit different. Dave, we're featuring a bet that Steve came up with. Steve, can you explain this?
Well, yeah, you guys are in it for the odds or the wins or the losses. I am in it for what I like most. Chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos.
And the lulls. So basically what I thought was, like, listen, whenever there's a game against the Leafs, even though they're on like one of the most ridiculous heaters in the entire league, if you see a former Leaf on the other roster, you're like, they're scoring tonight. So what I said is, what can we bet on that? Mm-hmm. And Sports Interaction said, yeah.
You can bet that.
And I said, whoa, hey, whoa.
Hey. All right.
And I said, I didn't. That's far too much power.
And that's where I come in.
Yeah. The first one is Saturday. It's just Nazem Kadri, but it's never just Nazem Kadri, is it?
Exactly. It's all about Nazem Kadri. And actually his number, Steve, thanks to you, is actually a fantastic 3.49 that he scores a goal against his former team.
Jeez.
And then he takes off his glove and he shows everybody a Stanley Cup ring.
Oh,
no, not that part. Just the goal part.
Is that just the goal part? Okay, all right.
Just the goal part. Yeah, absolutely. You like that other part?
I do like that.
Decent odds considering they haven't allowed a goal in the Connor Timmins era.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right.
This is true.
The straw that stirs the drink.
So also on the Flames and Leafs tomorrow, Dave, what do we got?
Yeah, you know what? We have some really enticing props, and I tell everybody out there, check them out. It's under all bets. We have three major props that are getting some serious action right now. Austin Matthews, easy to say. Time on ice. Is it over under 2.5 minutes? That's out there. Shots on goal. Leafs over under 1.5 shots on goal for the entire game. Just saying. Also,
wait, what?
Leafs.
Under.
Leafs.
Take the under.
Will they take at least one penalty? Yes or no?
Ooh, they're taking
it there. All Canadian matchup. Flames. I know.
These are real bets.
These are real bets. I encourage everyone to check that out and make your best possible selection. How's that?
The reason I didn't react is I thought you were kidding.
He's not kidding.
No. sportsinteraction.com/SDPN.
You can find it there.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Are you taking Kadri to score?
I don't. No. No.
I'm smelling a yeah.
Yeah. No. See, the Leafs, they did this thing where they made me optimistic, right? So I'm not in the right mindset to be like, Kadri's getting one tonight. Because Durzi, while getting booed out of the building, should have scored. And it didn't happen. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. You've confused me tremendously.
Sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. Check it out there. Dave, we will see you Monday.
Have a tremendous weekend and check out that Saturday game.
'Tis the season to deck those halls, shave those balls, and get them all shiny with Manscaped. You got to use Dangle. Promo code Dangle at manscaped.com. Get you 20% off and free shipping. Now, guys,
that was good.
plenty of things that you can do, especially these are great stocking stuff. So, I'll reach behind me into my tickle trunk of manscapedness. The weed whacker. Okay, so the weed whacker is interesting because at a certain point, you reach an age where your nose hair gets longer than your nostril.
And your ears.
And your ears. And this is what the weed whacker is really good
Your
for.
mustache goes into your sinus.
That's right.
People don't tell you that.
You know what they call that? The thing in your ear? When they call them your little pussy willows. That's actually what they call them.
Pussy
That's
willow.
what my grandmother used to call them for my grandfather. She's like, your pussy willows are getting a little long there, dear.
Let's retire that.
I know.
Like,
Let's retire it with the Manscaped Weed Whacker. It's easy. And again, you got to go to manscaped.com /Dangle or promo code Dangle, whatever you want to do. And then you get 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped. Let's clear it up for the holidays, baby. Hey, so we have some experience with Shopify. Jesse,
yes.
tell us about it.
SDPNshop.ca is built on Shopify.
So with Shopify, you're going to be able to customize your own online store, right, Jesse?
Like ours.
And discover new customers, right, Jesse?
like all the customers we have.
And build the relationships you want to create with diehard fans, which we hope we've created with you. And it's funny because we, when Shopify came on as a partner, we were like, I didn't even know that Jesse had used Shopify as the platform. And then he's like, hey, did you know?
Jesse doesn't tell us anything.
No, he doesn't. He just does it.
Part of his charm.
And thanks to their 24/7 support and free on-demand business courses, Shopify is on your team every step of the way. So when you're ready to take your winning idea to the world, team up with Shopify, the commerce platform powering millions of businesses, including ours, down the street and around the globe. Try out Shopify for free and start selling anywhere. And if you want to sign up for a free trial, shopify.com/SDP, all lowercase. We didn't even get a free trial. We just did it.
It's true.
Go to shopify.com/SDP. You're getting a better deal than we did to start selling online today. Again, shopify.com/SDP. Steve Dangle Podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Listen, full disclosure, we are three guys that have all gone to therapy. We believe in it, and we want you to check it out if you believe it's the right time for you. Now, the great thing about BetterHelp is you sign up, and the great thing about the Steve Dangle Podcast listenership, first off, you're going to get a bit of discount, which I'll get to in a second, but you're going to be able to go, you get matched with a therapist, and the great thing, like traditional therapy was you went, you talked to a therapist, you had to have good chemistry with them, otherwise you weren't going to get much done,
Right.
and you had to take time out of your day. And some people don't feel comfortable talking to a complete stranger in person. The great thing about BetterHelp is you can do it video, you can do it phone, you can do it on chat, and you get the match with somebody very, very quickly. Like it's like within 48 hours. So as I said before, you want to check this out, learn more, and save up to 10% off of your first month at betterhelp.com/SDP. That's BetterHelp.com/SDP. So to wrap up another story from the drama report that I put out on Wednesday, I told you that the Raptors' Fred VanVleet, this is very nice, Jesse, that you're giving him a nice shoulder rub. The Raptors' Fred VanVleet unfollowed everybody on the team except for the team, and he unfollowed every account except for 5. And so the media asked him about it. He was like, oh my God.
The who?
The media.
The who?
The media.
There you go.
The only 5 that he
beta
followed.
media.
The only 5 that he followed: Bill Gates, Pfizer, Moderna. No, sorry.
No, it was like the Raptors and like a community organization that he runs and stuff like that. And they're like, he's like, no, I just unfollowed a bunch of people because I kept seeing suggestions come up in my Instagram that I didn't follow. And he's like, so I was trying to clean it up because like I didn't want to see all this shit come up in my timeline that I wasn't interested in. And he's like, I unfollowed my mom. Did you guys notice that? So he actually unfollowed his mom.
I watched the press conference of him responding to it, and he sounds like all of us. He's like, I hate the algorithm because it keeps showing me shit I don't want to see. So I unfollowed everything to see if it fixed the damn algorithm. And everybody made a big deal about me unfollowing stuff. He's like, no, I guess I should just pay attention better next
are you
time.
Noticing that with Twitter too right now? Like,
it's horrible.
Most of the tweets I follow, or most of the Twitter accounts I follow, like they'll like something, and I'm seeing a bunch of shit from people that I just don't care about. I'm like, I can't believe that we have to do this. I can't. Yeah. I follow these people for a reason.
I fire Twitter missiles and I read my. It's funny. Mentions are now where I have to retreat to.
Yeah,
the timeline's unusable.
Yeah. You actually. That's funny. I want to bring up this drama because I like a little drama. Did you hear about what Zdeno Chara said about the Canucks during the Stanley Cup final?
I sure did, and
so this is the Adam Wilde drama report. Are you ready?
Yep.
Here's what he said. Hang on, I'm gonna pull the quote. Here we go. After losing 2 games in Vancouver, we saw players from Vancouver coming on the ice in the Garden, and they were actually practicing how they would be lifting the cup and handing it off to each other. And we found out about these things, and we were like, fuck this, we're not going to allow this to happen, and it just fueled us. But wait, there's more. We heard about a few things. There were some rumors that they called the league and they were asking, I believe it was after, I don't know what game it was, they were calling the league and asking how many people and family members could they have on the ice after they won the championship. We found out about these things, and for us, it was huge motivation. And also, I remember there was a story about Mike Gillis being out for dinner and celebrating the Stanley Cup win with people, and this was reported on later, like buying champagne and celebrating the Stanley Cup win before it happened, which it never did.
So, Jesse, can you read that tweet?
Jeff Merrick followed up on the report from Chara that the team was practicing their Stanley Cup celebrations, and he said, texting with Bieksa, who says this never happened, 100% didn't happen.
So,
that's from Jeff Merrick texting Kevin Bieksa.
When I first heard this report, the first thing I thought of was this sounds like a Michael Jordan made up motivation story.
Yeah, like Tom Brady, the world's against us. No, Tom, everybody believed in you.
No one's forcing you to eat strawberries and tomatoes.
Yeah, Tom. You've won 8 championships, Tom. We all believed you could do it.
One of the worst ones, culprits of that I hate is Drake. Who will like rap that everybody's against him, but like Drake's one of the most beloved artists on planet Earth
ever.
And I'm like, Drake, it's not 2010 anymore. You're not an underdog.
Yeah,
like that doesn't apply here.
Or Marcus Stroman. It's like, man, I'm a baseball player and I'm short. I can't believe that people don't believe in me. We're like, Marcus, you had a good year. Also, no one cares that you're short. You play baseball.
Also, a lot of people love Marcus Stroman.
Yeah,
he's just the worst, the absolute worst. He's one of the worst gaslighters in professional sports.
Stroman?
Oh my God. Insufferable.
No, go off, Steve.
Anyway, no.
Please.
Here.
No, I want to hear your Marcus Stroman take.
No. We need Jeff Blair for that.
Yeah, Jeff Blair came on, the fan, when Steve and I did it. We were talking about Stroman. He's like, well, if Marcus Stroman wasn't such a narcissist.
Yeah.
And we were like, whoa.
And then someone from the station went and like, went to go look at his Twitter feed, only to discover they were blocked.
Yeah. So we're pretty sure he blocked the fan the day that Steve and I were on. And
it might have been before, we don't know.
Yeah, but it was probably then, and it was Maria. It's Maria St. Omer.
So your conversation with Jeff Blair about how Marcus Stroman might be a narcissist got the fan 590 blocked by Stroman.
Potentially,
very likely.
I think he might have blocked.
We weren't even setting him up for it. We were just trying to fit in, right?
Yeah, we were filling in for Jeff Blair.
Yeah,
who called into his own show
from vacation, and he was like, "No." It was we were just like, oh, we just trying to fit in here. Kawhi just got traded to Toronto. We're trying not to fuck this up. It's not hockey season.
Shat our pants for 2 days.
Yeah. Oh no, it was like a week. We did a whole week.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. So anyway,
all right.
Anyway,
back to this.
The Canucks.
Yeah.
When I heard this story, I thought, okay, this seems like a made up Michael Jordan motivation take, no, the whole world's against me. No, they're not. The Gillis story. That is not the first time I have heard that story.
That's been reported by several people.
I believe that story to be 100% true.
I also believe that
there was a culture of that series was over.
Yes, there was. I mean, and then there was the Luongo quote, which will live in infamy too, which was,
I'm not here to pump his tires.
Yes. Yeah. And I think, I do think the Canucks were convinced they were going to win. And by the way, I don't think that's a crime. If you get to a professional sport and you don't think you can win, you're fucking not going to win. So I don't blame them for that. I don't even blame them for saying, hey, if we do win the cup, who's going to get it first and who are we going to pass it to? Because do you think this shit happens on the fly? No, they talk about that.
Ray Bourque actually told me, was from the horse's mouth, told me that after the Avalanche won Game 6, Joe Sakic said, so how do you want to do this? Basically.
Yeah.
To which Ray Bourque responded, maybe we should win the thing first, huh, Joe?
But that's the confidence, right? So I don't blame them for that. However, practicing it openly might be conceived as conceited. And if I'm a Bruin, and we know how the Bruins, that era of Bruins were, and it's sad to say that without Chara there, that era is almost over, they got mad. And when they got mad and they made it personal, they won.
The Canucks weren't in Game 6. They definitely weren't in Game 7. That was an interesting one, man, because TD Garden, they were never going to win the cup in TD Garden. Ever.
No.
The surprise was them getting blanked at home in a Game 7. That's tough. Mm-hmm. It's tough to come back from that. So I don't know if the on ice thing is true. Surely there'd be footage of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the Gillis stuff, Canucks management thought they had that ring.
Did they get that ring?
Nope.
They still looking for that ring?
That's
Still
mean.
looking for
Just
that
checking.
ring.
That's
It's not mean. I asked the question and Steve answered it. Next on the drama report, the Edmonton Oilers, who seem to be either giving up a first-round pick for Joel Edmundson or Xavier, I think, is it Burgo?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Eric Engels,
one of their top prospects.
Eric Engels did a deep dive on Joel Edmundson, and then Mark Spector retweeted it, and he said they're very interested. We know he's interested. They may have to give up a prospect, and it was floated that a first round pick could be the thing that they give up. And remember, Joel Edmundson, no disrespect to him, but he was traded for two fifth round picks. So it is a little interesting. And then dovetail that with the fact that Jesse Puljujärvi this week or late last was quoted in a Finnish newspaper with translations done in Canada that he's not been playing great. And Oilers media, who has been on him since the second he got in town, are going, see, look, we told you. Mm-hmm. Now, Oilers fans on Twitter
couldn't be happier.
Oilers fans on Twitter have been saying, well, wait a second, but he was good last year.
No.
Isn't it somewhere in between? On the drama report.
I don't know why you can't just see what you're seeing and not what you expect to see. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, listen, with the Marner quote earlier, I'm getting dunked on. Imagine if I was still like, yeah, but he's bad. He's not what this team needs. He's swaggerless.
Here's the one you do. You wait till the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wait till the playoffs. He'll disappear.
And I say that to
that's what they would say.
I say that for the next 5 months, like every other super interesting person.
Yep.
With original thoughts. Like, no, I'm going with the evidence of my eyes and ears. Holy shit, he's out of the solar system right now. But Puljujärvi was good, and they said he was bad, and now he's bad, and they're like, see, he's bad. And I think that's bullshit. But again, Oilers have a hole in their lineup right now. They need someone to fill it. He hasn't done a good job. And so it sucks that he's down on himself, but there's an opportunity there.
I wonder why Ken Holland just won't just get this guy a new start. If there's a top 5 of players in the league who needs a new start, Jesse Puljujärvi is chief among them. It's got to be number 1 or 2.
I don't think he can. I think Puljujärvi tanked his own trade value with that quote. He's like, maybe I just can't do it at this level. Ooh. Like, that's not what...
He can do it at this level, though. We've seen him do it.
Yeah, he's more expensive than... Or I don't know if he's more expensive than Kirby Dach. But he's older than Kirby Dach. He has honestly not as much of a track record of success, or they have similar track records of futility.
Yep.
Maybe that's why Montreal is a good fit for Puljujärvi, potentially. Because look at how good Dach is doing.
I didn't even know they were linked in the Edmundson deal. I was just saying that both things are happening at once.
I'm just trying to connect 2 and 2.
Maybe that would make sense.
Maybe it would make sense, but 2016 was a while ago now. And that's when this guy was drafted. And he's still young. And I mean, hello, Tage Thompson.
Right. 5 goals in a game.
How you do in the first half decade of your career apparently doesn't dictate how the rest of it's going to go. Absolutely unbelievable from Tage Thompson. I'm just seeing a team that wants a player and a team that has a player who has potential and needs a new start. And I wonder if there's something that can be done there.
With Kirby Dach?
No.
Puljujärvi.
No,
I'm looking at.
Are you trading Dach?
No, he's
for
just comparing and
Puljujärvi?
contrasting.
I'm saying the Habs.
What the fuck are you
The
talking
Habs
about?
have had success
with Dach
Dach,
as a reclamation.
and so they could potentially have success with Puljujärvi.
Okay, thank you.
Man, if anybody could make you feel good about yourself, it seems like Marty St. Louis is the guy.
Probably.
And maybe that's what you just need as a coach. That because imagine, okay, we've all worked jobs where if you're working a high performance job and your bosses do not believe in you, even when you're good, it feels bad. I've been in those jobs before, and when you're good and you go into that job knowing you're good, but you know that your manager or your manager's manager does not believe in you and doesn't think you're going to do it. When you surprise them with success, they're like, When you maybe falter for a little bit, they're like, see, I fucking told you. And I feel like that's what's going on in Edmonton. I feel like Jesse Puljujärvi needs a team to go, hey man, let's get this sorted out. Let's give this one more crack. So, we believe you can do it. He clearly has the skill set. Can he put it together on the ice? And that's not always the case. Yeah. Maybe, what would be really interesting? I've been wondering this. The Oilers need like a power forward, right? Before Kane comes back, right? Or they
need a Vander Kane and some defense.
Yeah. So Kane will come back. They need
team defense however they get it, whether it's on the actual back end itself or someone up front.
They've also figured out their goaltending. Stuart Skinner has been really good in the last few games.
So my question is, and this Edmonton's probably not the team because the contract value is too high, is for me, a guy that also seems to need a different start, but in Montreal, since we bring them up, is Josh Anderson.
Yeah, there could be something there.
And he's mean. And if you have Josh Anderson, listen, there's some days, like we've said, Josh Anderson half the time is out of this world, and the other half the time he's invisible. And he has all the tools. There's a guy that has all the tools. It's unfortunate he's making as much as he's making, producing as little as he's producing. But holy shit, around a team with a lot of skill, Josh Anderson, in theory, could be quite valuable because you're not going to fuck with the skill with Josh Anderson walking around ready to torpedo you.
Yeah.
If I'm Edmonton, there's no way I take on that contract.
No, you can't.
It's 5.5
It's a trash deal
for 5 more seasons.
Yeah, they can't do it.
You can't hamstring your team like that. Like
Bergevin made
it'll be awful.
Shit deals. It's crazy.
We
didn't
knew
need to
that
do
one
that.
was bad right away, and then they made the final though in the first year of the deal.
Yeah,
and like he was mystifying on that because I got to watch the Canadiens very closely on that run to the Cup final, and most games he was borderline invisible, except he was probably the best player on the ice for either team at least once in every series he played.
Yep.
It made no sense.
Yep. Last story on the drama report, and this is somewhat unconfirmed, but I just want to bring this up because I've been doing a little research on it. Habs Reddit. The Habs have closed their NFT shop. Here's the post. Did anyone here buy Montreal Canadiens NFTs? The team announced they're ending their online platform, and all the NFTs have to be removed from it or by December 16th, or it will be destroyed. The Habs announced 6,000 packs of NFTs over a year ago, and they all sold out immediately. They wrote that the NFTs would have future utility, brackets, real-world use of owning an NFT like ticket pre-sales or merch, but there has never been any benefits for holders. Big shakeup in a short time frame for them to be ending the NFT program that some people spent a lot of money on. Now, if you're not a fan of NFTs, you should be you're probably saying, fuck those guys. But the reality is, if you promised buying these NFTs would have real, like, I understand if you're like, yeah, you bought that stupid monkey and you thought it was going to be worth money. You're basically Jake Paul, fuck you, that sort of thing. I think that's a little bit cynical. Mm-hmm. But when a professional sports team does promise benefits with it, and I haven't been able to find where they promise those benefits, so I can't totally blame the Montreal Canadiens yet. I was doing some sleuthing. I couldn't find it, but I did find their store. You can't buy anything on it. They were, I guess, already sold out. And if there was real world utility supposed to be attached to these, I think that's kind of a shitty move.
I agree.
Because you're literally you're pulling money out of JPEGs and promising something that never happened. Mm-hmm. That's a problem.
Yeah. I don't want to hear a diatribe about how it's not a JPEG. Like, okay, sorry, it's a JPEG that takes up a lot of energy, is what I meant to say. Yeah. Listen, I could see how someone would be skeptical about NFTs, but what got them across the line was real world application, ticket pre-sales and all that. And that's the sole reason why they bought it. I assume the Habs aren't just going to completely pull the rug out from under all these people.
I certainly hope not.
But they should probably update quickly because it's becoming a thing.
There's been nothing about that posted, and I mean, they're going to have to figure something out. And that's why I wanted to bring it up is like, I can't find anything. I have found their drop shot. I found the press releases on NHL.com, on Sportsnet, on the CTV, on Twitter. Here's the deal. So from the August 21st, 2021, own a piece of digital history with the first edition of Montreal Canadiens NFTs. And if you go to the article, it says that digital packs will fall into two categories, base and rare. They'll be priced at between $25 and $50 Canadian. Unlike other NFTs, payments can be made with standard credit card, no crypto required. It'll take 4 NFTs. And then, of course, the total packs issued in the team will be a pilot phase and extremely limited. And then they kind of said they don't really go into anywhere where this will be an approach to.
This didn't accompany tickets or something like that.
Yeah, I can't find anything that says that.
Okay.
There's some blockchain information and that sort of thing, but really after that, Margaret Boulanger, who we talked about last episode, there's a quote from her saying, you can own digital piece of history in a format that recalls traditional card collecting. She says, in taking a pack model approach, we're hoping to make NFT ownership viable to as wide an audience as possible to allow collectors from all ages and means to participate in this.
If they're just shutting down the program, that's fine.
If that promise was made, though, I would be bummed.
Right. You can't promise like, hey, this might come with a jersey and then not deliver on that. Like, that's really shitty. But, if they're shutting it down, then whatever.
And I want to be clear. I know I'm a Leaf fan, and I've been really hard on the Canadiens. I was hard on the Canadiens last episode, and this is. You raise your eyebrows at this, but I can't be like, fuck the Canadiens because I don't know.
Right.
But I'm not trying to attack the Canadiens. It just happened to come up on Habs Reddit, and I thought it'd be interesting.
No, you're defending their fans who bought all this shit and were made promises, and doesn't sound like they were necessarily kept.
You guys sort of dabbled in it, I think, before.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff being done in the NFT world. And Steve, don't be shy about. We were in the Top Shot when they were doing the virtual NBA packs, and it was a lot of fun.
I dropped it like a bad habit though, because it was.
Yeah, you dropped it. You dropped it when everything started to tank, But there was a lot of fun stuff being done. I remember when I think it was Matthews. It might have been Matthews or Marner when they sold their sets of NFTs, and they came with the real world stuff. And I think that. Marner. Was it Marner?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think that was the really cool stuff being done in the space where you get these virtual, because everything's online, everything's within an app, everything's virtual right now. You get this virtual card, this one-of-one JPEG of Austin Matthews or Mitch Marner, whoever it was, and that also came with tickets.
It's not a JPEG, bro.
That also it's a JPEG. Let's be honest, but it also came with the real world side of it. That was the fun stuff. That was the cool.
Why not just have the real world side of it though?
Yeah, and also when you guys were doing this, I know there's a lot of people saying shit about the environment and stuff. Yeah. I don't think any of us knew that.
No,
nobody knew how much energy this was. Who was the first band to do it? They were the Sex is on Fire band. What were they called? They released their album in NFT. Sex is on Fire.
What are you talking
Kings
about?
of Leon released their album. The first time I heard about an NFT And then Freach did an article on this when the Kings of Leon came out with their album, and it was NFT, and everybody's like, what the fuck is that? And then there was a whole bunch of, here's what a non-fungible token is. I didn't know shit. I didn't know what the Environment Act of that. I didn't know. So when you're into it, it's sort of like, oh, this seems like it could be a cool idea. I have to admit, I never bought one because I didn't get it. And I just thought it was stupid. And maybe I still am.
No, I'll tell you why I got into it, because I had a friend who got into it, and they're like, yeah, I bought this card for $30 and now it's worth $300. And I was like, oh, if I get in early enough, I can do it too. And then it went in the opposite direction.
Right.
And I said, well, fuck me, right?
It was also fun opening the packs.
And trying to get in the line.
And getting the cues when they'd send you out, hey, the cue's coming up in on Friday at 6 and you gotta get the pack. Because it's literally just the trading card, except you just do it from your phone or your laptop at home. Like, that was the fun part.
But then I'm like, I'm just getting ripped off.
Yeah, and then like,
well, it flooded the market, right? It was like a gold rush.
And then it got kind of boring.
I always think about it too, like people are like, well, they're terrible for the environment, and that's true. But do you think that real hockey cards are good for the environment? They cut down trees, they use poisonous ink, all that shit. It's not great.
Everything is
gonna kill you.
Bad.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What do you
Absolutely.
like?
What do you like? There's a bad aspect.
Here's a 90-minute video about why it's bad.
Anyway, I hope if the impression was left with Canadiens fans that bought these NFTs is that there would be some real world exclusives. I hope that the Habs make good on that. Mm-hmm. That's all I would say. And I hope that they have an announcement about that before December 16th, because that's not fair. It's not fair, right?
No, I agree.
Listen, we usually do a bit of a shorter show on Friday, right? We've kind of been at this for a while. Do we want to do a bit of a longer press conference?
Sure.
Let's do it. After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if there's anything we've learned, there's always a catch. So when we first heard about Mint Mobile and the premium wireless services they're offering at $15 a month, we thought, is there a catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't a catch. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those savings on to you. For anybody who doesn't love their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless at just $15 a month. Now, I should say this is USA only. Mm-hmm. I know we get a ton of Canadian listeners who are like, when? Well, we don't know.
You should also say that the secret sauce is just soy sauce with a little bit of sugar.
That's true. Good point.
It's teriyaki. You know?
It's always, all plans come with unlimited talk and text.
Yes. That's how they make teriyaki sauce.
I didn't know that.
It's soy sauce and a little sugar. Teriyaki.
Yeah.
That's what Mint Mobile uses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Only theirs is mintier. All plans come with unlimited talk and text and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. To get your wireless plan for $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/SDP. That's mintmobile.com/SDP. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/SDP. USA only. Despite what you may have heard, Athletic Greens is not just for people who are colored green and athletic.
Oh, thank goodness. So it's the Grinch and the rest of us.
That's right. Athletic Greens gives you a stronger immune system, better gut health, more appreciation for gifts at Christmas. No, that's not actually a claim.
No. A bigger heart.
You've got to check it 3 times the size.
A dog named Milo.
Cindy Lou.
No, you got to check out Athletic Greens.
Well, Milo's
listen,
from the other
Jesse,
movie.
You've had Athletic Greens a lot. I know
Yeah.
CJ's a huge fan of it too. Athletic Greens, tell me about it. What do you love about it?
Yeah, and Lewis Hamilton uses it too. So
That's why you
if
use
it's
it.
good enough for Lewis, it's good enough for you.
And you know, with Lewis, I think is he vegan? There's some sort of thing that he is.
Is he? I'm not sure.
I don't know. But anyway, listen, if you're keto,
race
paleo,
car
vegan,
driver.
dairy-free, gluten-free, F1 driver, it comes with less than a gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good. And right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you 1 free year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D. How cool is that? And also 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com, promo code
SDP.
That's right. Thank you, Jesse. Again, it's athleticgreens.com, promo code
You can just go athleticgreens.com/SDP.
Oh, yeah.
It'll take you right there and it'll say, hey, here's your offer.
Take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate in daily nutrition. Hey, here's your offer. Think you know which way it's going to go? You should head on over to Sports Interaction. When the puck drops, Sports Interaction has you covered
Live in play.
Live and play.
But pregame.
Pregame, live
And-
and play are one of their many prop bets. I wasn't ready.
On all major sports and prop bets. Want to bet? SportsInteraction.com/STPN. 19 plus, please play responsibly. I'm keeping them on their toes.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
I think Steve Dangle is very tired.
Why are you tired, Steve?
What are you tired about, Steve?
Oh, we had a technical screw up last night.
What'd you do wrong, idiot?
I didn't do anything wrong. WeTransfer got something wrong.
Blame technology.
I am going to blame technology.
Just like those NFTs.
Yeah. I am going to blame the NFTs and NFWe transfer.
Speaking of NFTs, can I ask you guys, you know the AI photos that everybody are posting?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, does it not? The first thing I thought when I saw those was, I mean, everybody looks good. That's great. The second thing I thought was, who's doing stuff with my data if I download that app? And of course, it's come out that there's a bunch of questionable shit happening with your data. Do you guys care about that anymore?
No, you can have my data.
Okay.
I'm different. If you want to steal my face, you can. There's so much of my face on the internet and voice. Like one day they're going to release like free technology and you'll be able to make me say whatever you
have
want.
a Steve Dangle AI.
Yeah, there's so
The
much.
chatbot.
Yeah.
That would be very funny. A Steve Dangle chatbot.
No, it wouldn't.
It'd just be a bunch of jokes that you forgot that you told.
Oh, I bet that's what it would be used for.
You don't think so?
Nope.
Jesse, go ahead, buddy. Sorry.
All right. This is from Guy Fieri on our Discord.
Yes.
Join our Discord on sdpn.ca. The link is there. You can join our fun little community we got going on. In the press
Take us to
conference,
Flavor Town.
in the press conference questions channel, Guy Fieri says, trivia or Adam and Steve? I brought this up a couple episodes ago about how the goalies might suck and offense might be really good. NHL league average save percentage over the last decade peaked in 2015-2016. What was the league average save percentage that season? And what is it currently? Adam Wild, what's your guess?
In 2015, 2016?
That was the peak last decade.
League average. Let's say 905.
I'm going to say 915.
And Adam, what is your guess of it currently?
898.
Steve?
906.
Very good guesses by Steve Dangle.
Oh,
15-16, the save percentage peaked at 915.
Let's
That was the
go.
league average save percentage
Holy
in 15-16. 915.
that
Yeah.
sucks. We should never have it that high again.
Yeah.
No.
And now in 2022-2023, we are at a 904.
You know what, man? Honestly, I saw a tweet from Fuleman who perfectly sums up everything ever. But he was saying, like, listen, he's like, it's fun to have the anxiety of, you know, you being up 3 or 4 goals and still not being safe. It's way better than the Islanders putting you to sleep for 1-0 with 1-0 games.
Oh,
and except for sorry, Islanders fans, but really it is. It's been a more entertaining product.
if you were down 2 goals heading into the third, like when we were kids,
You're fucked.
shut the game off.
Yeah,
Who's in net? Oh, it's Brodeur. Fuck. Oh, it's Waugh.
you won't even get a shot.
Hashik. Yeah, forget it. Just forget it.
It's
Turn
way
the thing
better.
off.
It's way better.
This question is from Rob Haar. Rob Haar begins their question by saying, this is a question that I think Adam will love. So Adam, pay attention.
Adam's going to hate it.
As of December 8th, the Oilers have scored a total of 97 goals on the season in 27 games.
That's McDavid.
Connor McDavid currently has 52 points. This means that McDavid has been directly involved in 54% of all goals scored by Edmonton, while his cap hit, $12.5 million, is only 15.2% of the team's salary cap.
I hate this so much.
Last season, the Leafs scored a total of 312 goals with 60 goals and 106 points. Austin Matthews scored 19% of his team's entire goals.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's 19% of the team's entire goals and was involved in 34% of their total offense. Matthews' cap hit is $11.6 million, which is 14% of the Leafs cap. How has the cap inhibited salary growth, and is this a good way of showing how criminally underpaid NHL stars are? Adam Wild, take it away.
I mean, here's the thing. No matter what I say here, I'm the fan of a big market club. And so nobody is going to take what I say seriously. Also, I'm Adam Wilde, and nobody's going to take what I say seriously.
No, everyone's very complimentary.
For sure. But I do... you guys ever worked a job that was very difficult and required high technical skill?
High technical
like technical skill as in like performance and the answer is yes, you motherfuckers. Just say yes for
yes.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I've never been a doctor.
Sometimes I talk to these guys and I'm like, hey guys, here's a really easy setup. And they're like, well, let me think about that for a second.
Adam, I worked at the zoo for 7 years before joining
you do
Sportsnet.
a fucking YouTube channel with 200,000 subscribers, Steve. You're good at it. Admit it. Jesse.
What not
Tim
produce skills?
and Sid.
No,
fucking
but like,
Virgin Mornings. This show independently.
I clean trains in the Mimico Go Transit yard.
Is that what you
I'm
did?
not talking
for my
about
summer
that job. Not that those jobs aren't hard too.
I
They're
clean
fucking
toilets.
hard. My question is, being highly skilled at a profession, gentlemen, of which you both are, did you ever feel underpaid for what you did?
Oh, yeah.
Never.
Shut up. You dick.
Always,
There was one.
You know what he's doing. You see what he's doing?
accurately paid.
He's getting under my skin.
There was one job where I got paid monthly, and then I took the amount of work I did. Like I was like, okay, how many hours did I work this month? All right, and I put that up against how much I got paid, and I'm like, I get paid $5 an hour,
Right.
Oh God.
How much did you like that?
just minimally.
Right. And this is my point, man. And you could say, oh, well, they make millions of dollars and they're set for life. And you're right. Some of them are. Most of them are not, which is why you see people on TV who used to play hockey or doing other things that used to play hockey. Mm-hmm. But I have to tell you, this is a problem across all working environments. I don't have a problem with the idea that I work for a company and they profit off my labor. I know a lot of people do, but I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem when this company that I'm working for, I make 0.001% of the revenue that I generate for that company. That's when it's a problem for me. And I'm not saying that's what it is for the thing. But for Matthews and Connor McDavid, who are two great, amazing, phenomenal, talented players who are among the best 5 players on earth, to get paid based on their contributions, you would have to more than double both of what they do.
McDavid should probably be making $20 million.
And we're talking about no. If we're talking about proportional to the points that McDavid has brought to the Edmonton Oilers, it's more than double.
Yeah,
he's making what was the percentage? 20%?
I can tell you again if you let me.
54.
So Connor McDavid is making 15.2% of the team's salary cap, and his goals were 54% of all goals scored by Edmonton.
If you tripled, he's been on 54%. If you tripled McDavid's salary, it would still not be proportional to the value he brings to the team. And by the way, the Oilers would still be massively profitable, and you could still do a 50-50 rev split. The problem is that the cap, the way it's limited, doesn't just limit players from making what they're worth. It also has a cap on how much you can actually make. I think the most you can make in the NHL this year is like 18 million or something like that.
So
it's
even like 16%.
Even if you were like, you know what, I'm the fairest owner in NHL history and I want McDavid to make exactly what he brought to the team last year and exactly what I think he'll bring to the team next year. Yeah. You can't do it.
Yeah, it's built in.
You actually can't do that. It's not actually possible. And I feel like that's kind of fucked. Yes. When Steph Curry, who deserves $50 million, makes $50 million, and maybe, you know what, maybe Steph's proportional value isn't accurately used in the NBA as well. I'll tell you this, it's far more accurate in the NBA based on what stars make than it is in the NHL. And I think
he's still underpaid.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
At $50 million, the value he brings to that organization is worth more than $50 million
and this
a year.
Is my problem.
Warped the fabric of basketball.
Yeah. This is my problem with salary caps. So you're telling me that an owner who's a billionaire is smart enough to be a billionaire, but he's not smart enough to go, you know what? I think we're paying this player too much. We're making an offer that's too big for this competitive player. I'm going to need you to put in a safety rail, a guardrail, so I don't drive my own finances off a cliff? Are you kidding me?
Now,
that's a crazy concept.
I often bring up the Minnesota Wild's 2012 summer and how much I hate Chuck Fletcher and that ownership group because they made me work for the KHL for an entire season. But
Well, hey, listen, we might be there again in 3 years.
yeah, I know.
You should call your Russian contact.
It's maybe not. I don't think they're available at the moment.
I'm kidding. It's a joke.
No, I know. But what happened in the summer of 2012? You need to go back and look at it. You need to go back and look at how many contracts were signed right before, less than a week before the lockout was enacted, because all these general managers and owners, all these general managers at the order of their owners were like, we need to spend before these contracts are made illegal. And these players are like, you know what? I'm going to get mine before these contracts are made illegal. And then the moment the lockout was announced, they're like, we're poor. All the owners went, spend, we're poor.
Yeah.
We have no money.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. It's there to, I'm not asking for people's hearts to bleed for millionaire athletes.
No.
But it's wrong that their salaries are artificially deflated
Yes.
by all these systems that they have put in place. And it's ridiculous that the reason these are in place are because the owners are frankly fucking stupid.
Yeah. And that's
There's-
what it
you're
is. The
not-
salary cap's not there because the players got too much. It's because the owners couldn't control themselves.
Yeah, you're not good at cards. You have a deck full of aces.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they have done to this system. You weren't smart enough to do this cleverly, so you've completely rigged the game against the players' union that buckled.
Right. And I think this is the part that kills me the most is I get tweets about this every time. And every time they'll say, oh, the small market teams will never survive. I believe in revenue sharing. I believe that the Leafs should pay a tax for being the richest team. And the reality is that the revenue share that currently exists in the NHL, the Arizona Coyotes get a check for $5 million from the NHL to help support them.
Not a lot.
That's nothing. It should be more.
You can get most of a Josh Anderson for a year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So to tell me, if you want to tell me that the salary cap is saving franchises and that it's propping stuff up, guys, that's a press release from Gary Bettman. I'll talk to people. When they ask me about this, when we've done live, because I've been on this shit for years, people will be like, hey, Adam, listen. I'm a fan of X team. And my team was going to go down. Okay, really? Was it going to go down? Okay, how do you know that? Well, because they told me so. I'm like, okay. So let me ask you this separately.
Propaganda.
Do you like Gary Bettman? No.
No.
Do you feel like billionaires always tell the truth? No.
No. Seldom.
Okay, but you believe Gary Bettman and the billionaires. You don't think that there's some self-interest attached to that. And listen, when you look at it from their perspective, it's one of the most successful campaigns in history. And we've all fucking bid it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Also,
And you know what? Who bid it the worst? The players.
yep.
They're the ones who are responsible for this the most. And I know I got a message from somebody the other day who was like, listen, man, I love you guys. Can you just stop ragging on Bettman? Like, I just get tired of it. Fair enough. I just can't help it sometimes. It oozes out of my pores. It's wrong.
He's bad at his job, and it would be less relevant for us to say he's bad at his job if he weren't in actual charge.
Yeah.
He's in
If he
charge.
wasn't directly responsible for not just who's the GM of every team, but also who's on TV and who, like he does. You guys don't get it.
Also, it's the era of hockey that we grew up with. Like, you really got to look back and go, wait a sec. All the big market teams are hogging all the wins. Is Detroit all the big market teams? Because that was the only one. Vancouver never won shit. Leafs didn't win shit. Rangers didn't win shit except for 94. Philadelphia didn't win shit and
In the
hasn't won
70s,
shit since the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the lockout
Like the best
happened in 2004, not the 70s.
the fucking Canadians won. The Devils won.
Who won
the Detroit Red Wings? Like Detroit was a big city, but yeah, remember Detroit was a city in decline when the Wings were at their best.
The Stanley Cup final the year before the season-long lockout was Calgary versus Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
The year before that, it was Anaheim versus New Jersey.
Yeah, and
What are you talking about?
People often bring up a team they bring up, and rightly so, is the Winnipeg Jets of the '90s. Okay, let me tell you something, man. If they say, yeah, small market team can't survive, guys, the point of a team is not to make money. Do you think that the Winnipeg Jets make money? They light something like $20 million on fire every year. You know why?
They have a 15,000 seat arena.
They're owned by like the 50th richest family in the world. They don't care. It's a tax write-off. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, that's what bothers me the most. And I swear to God, I'll shut up about it for at least the next month. I'm sorry. Is that enough? Have I gone on too long?
Oh, that was it? I thought you in conclusion.
In conclusion,
there you go.
It's wrong. You should be paid proportional to the value you bring to an organization.
Not entirely, because then the organization loses money.
Okay, so
but get real close.
Yeah. Or better.
All right.
Better.
Dude,
better.
Tampa, Calgary, New Jersey, Anaheim, Detroit, Carolina, Colorado, New Jersey, Dallas, Buffalo, Detroit, Washington, Detroit.
What are you
Philly.
Listening?
I'm listing
A bunch of not big market teams making it to the finals.
Take out Detroit,
and
you have virtually none.
And honestly, Detroit's not a big market. They just had a rich owner. The Illich family
Colorado,
is fabulously
Florida.
wealthy. Yeah.
New Jersey, Detroit, Rangers, Canucks. There's a clash of the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
A clash of the financial
Canucks?
Titans.
Yeah.
No. Like literally.
Well, the Canucks had a poor owner in the 90s, which is why they couldn't get Gretzky.
Well, then never mind. Montreal, LA, Pittsburgh, back-to-back cups against Chicago, big, and Minnesota, who left shortly after. What are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That was
it's the best.
It's not true today. It was never true.
It's Gary Bettman's greatest triumph. He's brilliant at it, and I will give him that forever and ever. Here we go. I'm not bashing Gary Bettman.
Lying?
He's fucking absolutely.
No, seeing all of the giant contracts being handed out in Major League Baseball, you realize that, hey, there's a lot of money missing that should be going to these NHL players. And we're not crying for these millionaires. We're just saying they're getting the short end of the stick here.
Don't you want to get paid fairly? Don't you feel a little bit screwed? I mean, these guys are the best in the world. They should get paid for it.
How many gifted athletes, are 12 years old right now, 13, 14, and they're having a discussion with their parents, and they got a pick.
Yeah.
And they're gifted at soccer or hockey, or they're gifted at, football or hockey, or basketball or hockey. It's a conversation that happens. Ty Domi had his choice in high school. He could have played almost whatever professional sport he wanted, and he happened to choose hockey. Now, that's a little different. Canadian guy, it was his best thing, whatever. But it robs the sport of the best athletes.
Well, Greg Maddux, wasn't he drafted by the Kings? Was it Greg Maddux or Tom Glavine?
I think it's Tom Glavine.
Yeah. Like I think Tom and there's been a few of those. Like
Russell Wilson was drafted in the MLB draft.
Was he?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Roger Federer could have been a soccer star.
They said Deion Sanders was. I mean, Gretzky was a better lacrosse player than he was hockey player, and he chose hockey because he knew he could make money. Gretzky talks about that openly.
John Tavares too.
Oh yeah.
Well, John Tavares' uncle is one of the greatest lacrosse players of all time.
Ever.
I think it's his uncle, right?
Yeah,
uncle.
Yeah. But that's the case with most athletes is that they're athletic, and if they put their energy into whatever sport they wanted to do, they could probably be very successful in that sport.
Yeah.
So,
but then they get to a certain level, and they're like, "I'm dropping hockey."
And you look at hockey, and you say, "Oh, it costs a lot to play." And you get paid the least.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? So
yeah, and you probably have one of the shorter careers too. Like the NFL, I think is the shortest. You
NFL
average
for
like
sure.
3 years or something.
Yeah.
Hockey's probably 5, maybe max.
I don't know.
Majority of guys don't even make it to game 100. It's tough. So anyway, that's why I feel the way I feel. You've heard it. I'll shut up about it. I promise.
Okay, we got. If I can find the question here. The question was basically, I'm going to try and summarize it after I find it. I will shout you out in what I'm trying to delay.
I'm monitoring Steve's energy levels, and you can always tell in his eyes. Is he into it? Because he was pooped at the beginning, but you did fire it back up again. I respect that. Well, Jesse's picking.
I got it.
Sorry, here really quick.
Yeah.
So what happened is I have to send all my files for LFR to Drew, and yesterday, it took half an hour, 35, 40 minutes, whatever. And at the end of the transfer, it just got stuck at 100. So we have to start the whole process over again. So that sets us both back, another 40 minutes. Yeah. And it's just, and then, kid wakes you up because he's excited to be alive. And It's just I'm very tired.
Oh, go ahead, Jesse.
This question is from Richard Triunfo.
Okay, Richard.
Triunfo. All right, there we go. With your experience in the OHL, Steve,
Oh, yes, of course.
as an esteemed high-level hockey player,
Yeah.
if Ovechkin breaks Gretzky's goal record, which he's 99 away from, it looks like he's going to do it. And
Hilarious.
whatever projections you were making about Ovechkin when he's going to break that, he's smashing it.
It's so stupid.
It's ridiculous. Back to the question. If Ovechkin breaks Gretzky's goal record, how many does he need to score to be safe from Connor McDavid? This is twofold, because one, you got to think that McDavid breaks it, I guess. Two, how many do you think he has to put up?
My brothers and sisters, based on my experience in the Ontario Hockey League. No, okay.
Let's take a look at the numbers. Connor
That's a good question.
McDavid.
It's a fun question.
A very good question.
Okay.
All right, so Connor McDavid so far in his career has scored 263 goals. That's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons. So how many seasons do we think he has left in the NHL? And then, so he has
He's
two.
played 8 seasons?
Yeah.
So if he scores at the exact same pace, if he doubles his goal total and doubles his game total, he'll be at 526, which isn't even close.
When? 526 when?
The end of season 16.
Oh, 16.
He won't even be close. Like McDavid, has McDavid ever won a Rocket? I don't think so. He might this year. He's got 24 goals in 27 games. He's a mutant right now. But he could.
It is sort of funny how, like, we're talking about almost a goal a game pace. We're not even really talking about it. Like, again, it goes back to, I just don't think we get how good this guy is.
Ovi?
No.
Well, Ovi, for sure.
Oh, you're talking about McDavid.
McDavid, but like this year.
Oh, yeah.
What's extra wild about Ovi is all his era adjusted numbers are absolutely screwed up. Like, okay, the save percentages peaked. What was the conversation we had earlier? 2014-15 or
15-16. Yeah.
Yeah, and how many goals did he have that year? Probably 50.
Mhm.
That's dumb. It's
He's
the
been
hardest
consistent.
time in the last 20 years to score a goal. Or maybe not 20, but 15 years to score a goal. And he had over 50. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Now for McDavid, goal scoring is getting easier league-wide.
Mhm.
Goalies are getting worse. The game is opening up. And also, you're an alien.
Yeah, that's true. He is an alien.
He would have to score at the pace he's currently on for another 5 years. No. The pace he's currently on this season for another 5 years to even get in the neighborhood of having this conversation.
So I got this for you.
Okay.
I'm going to give McDavid 12 more years.
You're going to
Let's
give him,
say
he's going to play a full 20
He
years.
gets a 20-year career.
Okay.
At a 20-year career, he would have to average over the next 12 years 53.08 goals a season. So 54 goals a season to hit 900 career goals.
I mean, doable, but wow.
So he needs some 60s in there, probably multiple.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be 50.
There's got to be some injuries at some point too, right? So
Let me put it as simply as I can. Connor McDavid has to do something he's never done before 12 times.
Yeah. He's never had a
his
50
late
goal
30s.
season. Never had a 50-goal season.
Yeah, like this isn't against him. We're talking about all-timers here.
I hate Connor McDavid. This is against him.
Yeah, no, first of all, human garbage. No, like he at current pace, he won't even come close.
It won't sniff Ovi. Won't sniff the probably top 5 all time.
Why Connor McDavid is trash, Mike Holloway.
He needed to be at a higher pace earlier in his career.
I think
it's not there.
He can. I think he'll get 500.
Mhm.
He's got a pretty decent chance at 600. And I think the cap might be 700. But at current standing, his career high is 44
Last year.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. There's no evidence that he'll come close. That's how amazing Gretzky and Ovechkin are.
The only evidence we have that he could do this is this season if he goes out and is like, now my goal is to score 70 goals a season, and he somehow does it, then we have to reframe the whole discussion.
He becomes Brett Hull 1991.
That's never happened. Like, he's got to go out and put a couple 70-goal seasons together or something stupid. So we're good. It's probably Ovi's.
That's crazy. That's so stark, right? Like, when you put it in those terms, I would never have thought of that.
Like, based on
damn good question.
Pace of early career, like Jason Robertson has a better chance.
Shut up.
He does. Shut up. He had 41 last year, and he's got and now he's at McDavid's pace this year, but 2 years younger.
Well, according to my model, Robertson's better anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. Go suck an egg.
The difference is he wasn't in the show at 18.
Hey, let's wrap it up for the week. Hey, listen, don't forget, will Nazem Kadri score against the Leafs in his return?
No. I say.
Like,
will the Leafs have more than 1.5 shots on goal?
Maybe.
John Michael Lyles wants to say hello.
No.
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction. Want to bet?
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.